Hello Express 2. Let's start our week number 8 of extra activities. On page number 1 you have a text, and when you read the text you have to pay attention to the highlighted parts. For example, the first one, do you watch a lot of TV? So do you watch? Where do you usually watch TV? Where? This is the second part you have to pay attention to. When do you watch TV? And then turn on the TV. Who decides? How old? Whose and which? Let's think about these parts of the sentences. These are called WH questions, most of them, and they are very useful in questions. So if you need some help to do the reading, before you start doing this, let's go to use of English and then you return, because I am going to explain everything you need to know there, okay? But basically for the reading you have to pay attention to the highlighted parts, and then on page number 2 you have to read the sentences and circle the correct one. For example, number 1, do or are you listen to music? Let's think about the sentence. Listen to music. What is the verb of the sentence? Listen. So is this verb to be? No. If it is present simple and I have a verb different from verb to be, I need the auxiliary verb. In this case, it is do. So, do you listen to music? This is example number 1. Then you do the others. The same thing for the writing. If you have difficulties, let's go to use of English and then you return and complete the writing. Basically, you have to write some questions for the answers for the statements you have there, okay? So, WH questions. As I told you, they are very useful when you are going to ask a question. The first one you have in your material is who. Who is a word I use in a question when I want to know about a person. For example, who is your favorite singer? So when I ask you this question, I expect you to tell me the name of a person who is your favorite singer. Example, my favorite singer is Beyoncé. Who is your favorite singer? What? I usually ask this question when I am interested in some things or objects. Example, what is your favorite subject at school? What? So I'm asking you about a thing. What? The subject. Is it mathematics? Is it English? So what is your favorite subject at school? Of course it's English. Then we have when. When I ask you a question with when, I need to know the time. I mean, not necessarily the time meaning how, what time is it? It can be, okay? But also, for example, when do you go on holidays? I go on holidays in July. No holidays anymore because of coronavirus. But in this idea, for example, when do you have English classes? I have English classes every Mondays, or in your case, every Wednesdays, right? That's it. Or Saturdays. The other one, where? When I ask you a question with where, I am using, I need to know something about the place. Where are you from? Where do you study English? So I study English at Freeway. Now I study English at home on my computer. Where are you from? I'm from Guarani. And you, where are you from? Another one, how? How? I'm going to give you some examples of sentences and you are going to be comfortable. A very simple example from Express 1. How old are you? I'm 29. How old are you? Another example. How do you go to freeway? Do you go to freeway by car? Do you go to freeway on foot? Do you go to freeway by helicopter? Okay? Which is similar to what in a way, but you have options. The options can be very clear in the sentence or you have a context. Example, which color do you prefer? Black or white? So here I'm giving you two options, so you have the options to choose. Or imagine you are at the cinema and you have some films and you can look at the names of the films and you tell your friend, which one do you prefer? Because your friend can clearly see the options. And why? Why is a WH question you use when you want to know a reason? Example, why are you at home? Because there is coronavirus. Why do you study English? I study English because I love it and it's a very important language. So I need to know a reason, so I use why. Another one and the last is whose. Whose I use when I want to know about a possession. Example, whose pen is this? Ah, teacher, this is my pen. Whose ring is this? Ah, this is Laura's ring. So that's it when we talk about possessions. Now you can return to reading and you can complete writing and also you can do the use of English activities. You have some explanation in your material and after reading everything with the examples and everything so you can feel more comfortable, you go to page number 5 and complete all the activities with WH questions. Finally, for listening, you have to complete again with WH questions. Teacher, but how doesn't start with WH? But that's okay, it's considered a WH question. Before listening, try to complete the gaps by reading the sentences. After you do this, you can listen and check. And my idea for you, speaking activity. Think about 2 examples of questions with each WH question. You have there on page number 3 that we discussed. Who, what, when, where, how, which, why, and whose. Think about 2 questions with who. Think about 2 questions with what and answer the questions out loud, okay? It was a pleasure to be with you. Hope to be with you in person very soon. Goodbye.